Hey everybody, welcome back to another Blind Tuesdays. Hope you guys have been enjoying the content on the channel as of late. We are off to the theater for the mystery movie, actually. Not sure what it's going to be today. Saw some predictions online. It seems like it's going to be The Bike Riders, which, sure, why not? I mean, it's $5, so no big deal, right? But yeah, so I'm just heading out, and we're here with another Blind Tuesdays. And for this week, it was going to be horror. I was set on doing the original Alien, just to get ready for Alien Romulus. I haven't discussed the original Alien. I've discussed Aliens. I've also discussed Alien 3. I think, yeah, I've discussed Alien 3. But I have not discussed the original Alien. But I have seen it. Obviously, I've seen it a few times in just clips. One complete whole viewing, actually. It's been actually quite a few years since I've seen it completely in full. But so I wanted to watch it in full, but I just never got around to watching it again. So I'm picking something different this time, and to still be a bit relevant of sorts. I figured to do as a sort of a, just, I guess, a precursor, or as a something of a, just something before the upcoming prequel film, or at least, prequel film to A Quiet Place Day 1, which, frankly, I'm not going to see. I just have no desires to see it. I figured, though, to discuss the original film, that film being, of course, A Quiet Place, which was written and directed by John Krasinski, also starring John Krasinski, starring also Emily Blunt, as well as two kids. I believe one of them is Noah Jupe. I forgot his last name, sorry. I believe he starred in Honey Boy, which I actually really want to see. I've seen some clips from it. It looks pretty good. This is based off of a screenplay by, I believe the writers' names are Scott Peck and Brian Woods, right? I think those are the names. Sort of, kind of, in a way, following up from the, what's the film called? Don't Breathe, back in 2018 of sorts, where that film kind of in some ways flirted with a concept that A Quiet Place is now utilizing, or was now utilizing by this point. Set in a dystopian-like future where invaders, alien creatures have ravaged Earth, and there are pockets of survivors here and there. But we're mainly focusing on a family, that with John Krasinski and Emily Blunt being the father and mother of this group, and two kids, one of them being deaf, so she relies upon sign language, and these characters in turn also use sign language, both for communication with the daughter, but also within the parameters of their situation. Which the parameters of the situation, it being titled A Quiet Place, is that the aliens, or at least these creatures, are drawn by sounds, very specific, volume of sounds. So the sounds are very, very mute, or at least very minuscule. The characters can move through safe passage and not worry about any creatures coming and attacking them at a moment's notice, because any higher volume of sound gets these creatures alert, and they will be on the attack instantly. And so it follows this family led by John Krasinski and Emily Blunt, and at the beginning it shows them going to a store, and they had more than two children with them at the time, we'll say, and it was like a little kid, and something happens to the kid, unfortunately, in a tragic event, and from that, the family is now left to four people, and it details their dynamics with each other, and ultimately how they try to survive this brand new world that everyone is living in. So like I said, based on the original idea, it seems to have borrowed, at least conceptually, something from Don't Breathe. I could be wrong, but it just seems as though it was Don't Breathe was something of a a precursor to A Quiet Place, but I could be wrong in that. But it just seems like that in terms of just the overall concept. But with A Quiet Place, just talking about A Quiet Place, generally speaking, what you get from it is, firstly, I mean, obviously, to do with sound design, sound quality, something that is meant solely for a theatrical medium. I think that if you were to watch A Quiet Place at home, I think the effect of it is not as strong. But watching it in a theater, specifically with a large group of people, it actually has something of merit in terms of a theatrical medium. Because the reliance upon sound and the crafting of said sounds, I think, is key to making A Quiet Place more engaging and thus more tense in overall design. And the other notable thing about it is also to do with the performances. I think Emily Blunt puts in a good performance here, specifically with that bathtub scene. I think she does really good there. And I mean, generally everyone else is fine. Krasinski does well. The kids are good as they are. But the issue that I find with A Quiet Place personally is it's a benefit to the film and overall crafting of fear and an overall scares, because there are genuine moments of uncertainty or tension rising, and that's a lot to do with the isolated nature that the film bears. Because in concept, I mean, obviously you can make this a lot more larger in scale. Something to the effect of like The Last of Us. In terms of like a video game, where it's like a big, expansive type of world. Globe-trotting, or just like navigating the entire world, like showing you this and that, instead of, and what A Quiet Place does is that give you suggestions, little fragments of what the world is at large through the point of view of the family. It's very isolative and very just specific, and it works to the film's benefit in creating fear and creating tension, but also to some extent it makes the film quite ordinary in its overall presentation. It doesn't feel like it feels as though that if it's built with a mainstream mentality, which I don't frown upon, often. I try not to frown upon it. I try to let films speak on their own, but generally speaking, if you follow this channel for any extended period of time, that whole mentality, that whole just mainstream-like quality doesn't really benefit to me as much as something that has a unique voice embedded into it, because it feels like something that could have been made, in overall nature, in an independent front. I know it was made for low budget and stuff like that. I understand in a literal sense that yes, it is a small production, but it doesn't feel like that. There has that ordinary mainstream quality to it that I'm not that impressed by, and I feel as though it kind of negates the craftsmanship, or kind of deflates the craftsmanship that is trying to be built within such a concept like A Quiet Place. So and like I said, it has good moments of stuff here and there, and I think generally speaking it is a decent watch. I think that the performances are good. I like that how they utilize sound design in this. I think that it helps in creating tension, but what you get for the most part, at least for me, is something that's good, but not something completely notable. It feels just fine, ultimately. It doesn't sit in anything higher than that. It's not anything terrific, not something great or outstanding. It's just fine. And it just has a lot to do with this overall feeling that I get, the smell of A Quiet Place. There's just something of a familiarity that is waved over this film, and I think that it has a lot to do with just how it is structurally put together. It just bears some of that mainstream mentalities, or that overall, just maybe in the context of a horror film, it just I wouldn't say it bears cliches, but it just has that similar attitude that you come to expect within the definition of a horror film. So but I like conceptually what it tries to do. I think that there are nice details that come with utilizing the sound in terms of the characters needing to be quiet. I like how the film utilizes certain details, hyper, you know, being very hypersensitive in what the characters pick up, or how their voice, you know, comes out, or them like sometimes just breathing. You know, it in turn creates tension within the viewer because of the circumstance that is established. So any sound that is there can create tension because you're anticipating what might or may not happen on the outside, which is that creature, which might just come in and just wreak havoc, or the presence of said creature, where if the creature is even around at the moment of when the noise takes place, you know. So like I said, interesting concept, but I don't think that it's executed in a way that benefits it greatly. I think that better sensibilities generally overall, not to do with the concept, just to do generally with how it is designed and how it is structurally created. I just feel as though that mainstream mentality, just, at least to me, that's the definition that I give to it, because I don't know other word I can use, an overall feeling of how I feel in watching Quiet Place. I feel like with that remove, I would feel that it has so much more merit and much more of a voice to say. But outside of the technicality and the overall gimmick within its concept, I feel as though that the voice of A Quiet Place, the voice of a filmmaker, is lessened, or not as expressive or as knowing as its concept or its gimmick that is at the forefront. So good film, but could have been better if I were to hear more of a filmmaker's voice and not so much of its concept. So yeah, so there's my thoughts on A Quiet Place. I like it, but not so much. So you guys, let me know your thoughts on A Quiet Place if you guys have seen it. I'm gonna go check out my Mr. Movie now, and yeah, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. And of course, this being Blind Tuesdays, I'm not here at home, obviously, so whatever I'm going to pick or spin the wheel, whatever I land on, is gonna be right here, and that's gonna be for next week's Blind Tuesdays. So there you guys have it. So let me know all your thoughts in the comment section below, and that's gonna be it for this video, guys. Thank you guys for tuning in, and until then, I will catch you guys in the next video. Bye.